Guys, welcome to another episode of The Pulse. By now, hopefully you know what we do here, talking to people who are doing big things. They're sharing their stories. They're making us laugh. They're entertaining us. They're changing the world in some circumstances. And this particular gentleman doing a little bit of all of that stuff, Mr. Tommy Davidson joins us. Thank you for taking some time with us.
Thank you.
I was just out shooting a story. And as I often do when I'm talking to different people, I mention who I'm getting ready to talk to. Man, the unbelievable level of, I know Tommy Davidson, or they all know you from something different. Is that kind of a standard response?
Yeah, and I love it because, I've been around for 35 years. I've done cartoons, movies, TV, just all episodics, guest starring everywhere. People don't know me for one thing. They all come to see what they love, and then they get a surprise to give me doing stand-up. I do request, somebody asked for Varnell Hill. I go, did you miss me? Who can take the children? They ask me for Proud Family. I go, Sugar Mama, give me the Proud Snacks. So I got a little bit of everything for everybody. And most of all, I'm just grateful for having such a versatile career. I just went into smooth jazz.
Yeah.
And that's been going really good. I'm on my 6th single. I'm one of the top, the new top names in smooth jazz. It takes me around the world to perform. I've been wanting to do music since I was 6. So here we are. We're doing something else still.
I feel like the longer people are around, you kind of find out about all of this additional talent. And you almost had to pick a lane. You're a musician, you're an actor, you're a comedian, you're an author. But at some point you kind of have to pick them, or you just do them all.
When I feel like it's the time to start doing that, I just do it. A lot of people out there, a majority of people out there, they need reasons to keep going out here. We're going through a tough period in this country and just life in general. I just love the fact that I'm someone who can make people happy in different areas. We're all looking for that. And so if I can give somebody a moment of happiness, I know how valuable it is. And that's why I work so hard. This was a gift. This was my talent given to me. I didn't discover it. My friend discovered it and said, you better go to the comedy club with that. And it was already there. The other stuff is applied learning, learning how to act, learning how to TV act, movie act, learning how to write, learning how to author, and, learning all the technical aspects, and just having enough courage and excitement for that business to just keep doing new things.
Let's step back a little further than that, because as I always do research for people we're interviewing, and followed you for years and could tell a bunch of stories of different characters and laughing and what have you, I did not know your story. Can you share some of that with us? Life was a rough beginning for you.
Yeah, it was. I was abandoned as an infant. I was found by my mother randomly, who took me to the hospital. I lived. I was in coma and been starved. Who knows how? Nobody knew how long I was there. And ended up growing up till I was 5 in Laramie, Wyoming, and Fort Collins, Colorado. And I didn't know I was white, but I didn't know I was black. I just knew that we were different colors and that didn't matter. Until I moved to Washington, D.C., that it was like, okay, you're black, you're white. And that whole thing happened, But that made a difference in the way that I grew up, in the way that I saw the world, because my family loved me. I didn't know any difference. And looks like the world judges that.
Yeah.
And because of my experience, I don't. I got to be probably the only black person walking the USA that's an advocate for well-meaning white people. My family couldn't stand what happened. They couldn't stand racism. And that's really who they are.
The reason I go back to that is because it's a really interesting path to comedy. And it seems like it's and you're just explaining it, it is a path to who you are. But did you have to kind of go down that path? Did you have to learn to be that more resilient person? Or you just were always funny and you kind of had to pull it out?
I was always a happy kid. was translated into a happy person. So a lot of things happened to me that didn't happen to them because I was Black.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to concede, well, you know what? We are different. We are from different races, and the world operates based on that. Thank God I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were like animals. You know, I grew up in farms and had a lot of litters. We love when puppies were born because we can play with them, you know. And the mom could be a white cat and have 2 black kittens, 1 white one, a gray one, and a brown one. And you know, if you grabbed one of them too early, she'd come over there. You know, she loved them all the same. Is what I'm saying. And so once I got okay with exactly where I come from and finding out where I come from and finding out how I got here to these United States, I'm fine. Because there's no one different in this whole country that didn't come from somewhere else except for the Native Americans. If you work really hard, you know, you're going to succeed eventually. If you're nice and really sincere about it, you will get that in return. Just the basics that I learned from my launch pad.
Coming up next, how he got his start in a pretty unusual place. And a friend says, "You're funny, let's go to the strip club?"
He said, "You're funny, I got to find a place for you to perform."
And a friend says, "You're funny, let's go to the strip club?"
He said, "You're funny, I got to find a place for you to perform." The place was the worst. Like, I'm not going down there. And he said, you know, just go on the mic and say something. And from the first thing I said, people laughed. I stayed at that club for probably about 3 months. And that was the end of that because promoters came. I started opening up for big acts like Luther Vandross. And next thing you know, a year later, I was in Hollywood. And 3 years after that, in Living Color. So it was already there. I just had to, you know, give it a chance. You know, I was happy. I was working at the Ramada Inn as an assistant chef at 19. Figure I was on my way. But now I can cook in my own kitchen.
Right. Right? I'm guessing it's a bigger kitchen. It's a nicer life that came out of all that. It's always fascinating to me because we have a lot of different people on the show and different people have different stories, obviously. Friends said to you, "You're pretty funny. Go to this club where I work and get up there and try to be funny." And that didn't seem all that unusual to you. Like if somebody said that to me, I'm like, what's wrong with you? I'm not, But you're like, okay.
Trust me, he browbeated me for months over that. I finally was like, okay, I'll go, you know. And I looked at the manager and the manager said, there's the mic, go ahead. And I looked at my friend Howard and I said, well, what am I supposed to say? He said, I don't care what you say, man, just say anything. And from the first thing I said, it was a laugh. So it was already there. Uh-huh.
So this happens, and you say that then shortly thereafter, you're on stage performing with Luther Vandross and some of the greats and opening for them.
Yeah.
That fast from there.
Yeah.
So you view yourself as an overnight success?
Oh, no. I'm still working on my success because it isn't just career. You know, being the type of human being that I want to be, you know, in my one shot at life, you know, and being able to do some of the things I've seen my mother do, you know, help a lot of people. And she just was always doing something for someone. And she was happy doing it. And she passed away probably about 20 years ago. And I swear, I used to say, why are you always helping people? And now I'm exactly like her.
It's hard to tell somebody who just talked about how they were abandoned as a baby that they seemingly have lived a charmed life. But you have, you know, you're discovered, you're Luther Vandross, you do the Apollo and win the Apollo. And is it true that I'm like, you were living in the same building as Martin Lawrence, you met Robert Townsend, like all of these things just started falling in line?
Yeah, that's on my yellow brick road, you know, just been my journey. Somebody told me the other day, I was trying to get them to buy into this idea I was doing, you know, because I'm real creative. They're going, you know, you're one of these type of people that goes down like a million yellow brick roads and tries to make something happen. And I go, nah, there's only one yellow brick road. It's who goes down with you that counts.
The big break? Was the strip club the big break? Was In Living Color the big break? Is the music the big break? Are you still just big breaking to big breaking?
That's what I'm doing, man. Cowabunga, baby. You know, it's like one after the other. You know, my eyes are open to what's next. You know, I have a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of optimism about not only this country, but this world. And I know that I can be a part of its solution. So I'm using my hands a lot today, huh? But yeah.
I do the same thing, man. Like what had happened was
its solution. And so I'm just glad at the age I'm at that I've found my purpose, which is to be here and to do good.
Fun fact, I'm not writing anything down. I hold this pen because if I don't, my hands are all over the place. When I was anchoring the news, I had a co-host and she was convinced I was going to slap her in the mouth because I was just like, you don't understand what's going on. And they're like, yo, here, hold the pen, hold the pad, hold something.
Right.
Stop slapping people in the mouth. Was there a point in this journey where you felt like, okay, this is the big thing? Or was it always keep going? Because In Living Color was a big thing. That's when everybody was like, okay, I know him. But it wasn't the only thing.
That was the big thing. That was the big thing. And I don't know if anything bigger is going to come along, because the big thing for me was where I got to express myself most, and where I got to use all of my talents at once. You know, at once. So they're being trickled out, you know, as my life goes on. But on that one show, I can show them all at one time, you know, and all of us could.
Yourself and Jim Carrey and all of these folks who were working on this kind of message show all seem to be rowing in the same direction. It seemed like a much bigger thing than let's just do a comedy show. Like let's change things.
Yeah, we were family, and we knew that there was no show like that ever on the air. So we really took advantage of it. But when I say take advantage of it, we really were determined to have fun with it the whole way out. And we knew it was going to translate to the audience because we knew we were picked to do it. It was a very long audition process. Everybody you know who's a comedian right now auditioned for it. The ones who got it are the ones who got the show, and the ones who got it were the ones that had the versatility to do it.
All right, so you are on tour right now. You'll be in Philly August 9th through 11th doing multiple shows at Helium. But Philly, it's not your home, but it sounds like you've kind of got a history with Philly. You like coming here.
Oh, yeah. Philly's beautiful. You know, I'm from D.C., so it's our second city, really. And a lot of good stuff started here. I did my second comedy special here, which was the best comedy special I ever did. I met Will Smith years ago before the TV show at the studio with him and his boy, you know, Jazzy Jeff.
Jazzy Jeff. And I feel like comedians either love us or hate us, man, because we have a well-earned reputation. Like we can be a little tough when you come to Philly. So we earned the love part of it from you.
Philly is the perfect mix. You know, it's tough with a whole lot of love. You know what I mean? You got to kind of be tough to get it. People in Philadelphia will tell you exactly what's going on in their mind. I'm like, oh, whoa. They're like, hey, man, what you want me to say, man? You know what I mean?
Right. Don't ask me if you're not ready to hear the real answer.
Yeah, you know, just straight up.
That's what Philly is.
I told my friend from Philadelphia I'm moving to California, you know, to get into TV and movies. And he was in his car, and he didn't even look up. He's looking at his steering wheel. He said, if I was you, I'd have been gone. And didn't say nothing else. What do you mean by that? I'm not saying nothing else, man. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Right, Philly, man. Only person supposedly from Philly that talks a lot is Rocky, you know?
Yeah.
Rocky talks a lot. We run my house, make it stink. The rest stink, Mick. I didn't you were so famous. You know, he goes on and on.
We love it. Embrace it. Throwing quotes around and whatnot. And not Sylvester Stallone. You're like, just like Rocky said. Like, wait, what? That's a movie. Anyway, so when you're coming to town with all of the different things that you do, what's a Tommy Davidson comedy show look like? What can we expect?
Expect the unexpected, which is always. Expect to laugh from when I get on there until I get off there. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what your race, what it is. I got something for everybody.
You still love
Everybody.
this?
Oh, I mean, it's my passion. It's the only thing that I could do that nobody, I don't have to ask anybody to do it. I could just get up there and do it. I don't have to read no lines or nothing. I just go, okay, here we go.
So we're not going to see you, though, breaking out instruments during the comedy show, right? We're going to get some of that performance also, or no, you never know what might happen.
You get the singing. I always somehow end up singing somehow, but it just depends because every show is different. I'm not the kind of comedian that has a routine. I come up, I start doing stuff, I fill it out, and then I just do what's to be done that night for whoever's there. I could just feel it. It's like an instinct.
I feel like asking somebody who's done this much, this many movies, this many TV shows, continues to be on tour, now has an album, is an author. I feel like asking you what's next is a little ridiculous, but I'm going to do it anyway because,
That's okay.
Whatever.
That's okay.
What's next?
I started a company called One Song, and we're a global, I won't say content, we're a global entertainment company. So I plan on doing TV, movies, or whatever I want to do, not only here in the States, but around the world. I've been able to travel the world countless times. And there are a lot of people out there that aren't really portrayed like they really are.
What's your OG advice and the hand that you're offering to other people who may want to follow your path?
Stay on stage. Stay on stage. The stage will launch you. 7 nights a week, you should be at a comedy club. 7 nights a week. I did it till I was, but it's automatic. It's like a reflex. It's there and it ain't going nowhere. And that's because of all that work put in. We ask everybody as a closing comment, when they hear the phrase, use your voice for good, what does that mean to you? That means you have one. And use it for everyone's benefit. Use it for everyone's benefit. We can use this in some ways, But the people that the good people gravitate toward people who have good things to say.
Guys, thanks so much for watching another episode of The Pulse today with actor, comedian, author, and generally good dude, Tommy Davidson. It's fun hearing the stories. It's fun hearing his process. It's enlightening and inspiring seeing the things that he had to overcome to become the success that he is. And as is often the case, I absolutely enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. If you want to hear the entire interview uninterrupted, go to places where podcasts are available. They are always there. You can check them out. And also download the Fox local app so you have all of our episodes of The Pulse right there at your fingertips. Some really cool interviews that I think you will absolutely enjoy. Hit me up on social media. I am always eager to hear from you, and I leave you today as I always do, reminding you whenever you can, use your voice for good and have a good one.